No, they couldn't go through it. Well, they had the wheels back on there the other day. Now it's all been through the body shop. Rear panels, all been through.
All kinds of trouble.
It's ready to go. I run to drive it.
Oh.
Thanks.
Oh my goodness. That's too bad. So she's got to go back.
You?
Sure.
Zero. Back here first.
That would be a mess.
She said it's drug children.
Thanks. I got the orders at some point.
Drums there.
Well, I was going to order last week.
Clark shoes, wine, everything. She's got to start figuring out things.
There's some money in the bank.
Is she in charge of me? Does she have hard water?
Hey.
Does she have hard water? Don't know what happened.
Doesn't matter where I'm at yet.
Probably just over
She got
time.
paint around. I think he's in that email.
Don't know how long they've had it.
Was that the follow-up? Did she call again? Was that when I talked to you about
The
it?
elements. Wait.
We said,
She said she wanted to, yeah, she called back and wanted to copy of the complaint, the original meeting.
Yeah, the original.
She was going to deny the legal.
I just left them.
Yeah, but not, that was the last thing.
I don't know, I mean, I'll follow up with, you know, like,
We feel left out. We feel left out. Nobody gets paid for that.
you get a much better result. Yeah, you know, if you get the adjuster match.
Okay, 3 months, honey. Well, you have somebody on this evening?
Yeah.
Oh, good. It's not Swankill, right?
I can't read this, Mark. Is that your mother's thing? You can read it, right? I know your mother's thing.
I'm not sure.
Nah, I thought that was good. That's good. Yeah, that was good. Very nice of you.
You didn't have any voice listings. Did you have voice listings?
I didn't see any in the file.
No, just those letters that she
Yeah.
wanted.
Oh, that's-
No, that's it.
And then you need some more.
let's see, who's up with me? Mr. Sensor, you're up.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome everyone to the June 6th meeting, or June 1st meeting of the Morgantown Town Council. We'll begin with the water grant and SRF update. The Oprah grant for the $550,000 was submitted last week. Our score is very good on that. And so the awards will be announced on July 15th with written notification around August 1st. We did finalize our purchase of the land up here by the water tower. I will tell you that Mr. Rowe, if he were willing to, he has 120 out in Global House. But he's not willing. Hey, man. Hi. Hey. Sharon, here's the file on that. And we have $226 that we didn't have to spend, shy of the 33. I have a bill. There's two bills to submit with that. One of them is to quote from land title and escrow for the research and exam fee of $250. And I'd like a motion to pay that. Second. Okay, all those in favor? Okay, please sing some. Give that to Sharon. And then I have an invoice for $850 that I paid with a personal check on the survey. The surveyor, we picked it up on 5/15 and carried it to Bedford, Martinsville State House, one other place. Anyway, it was the same company that had done the previous staking, so they used those stakes. But I'd like a motion to reimburse me with $150.
Make a motion to reimburse for the $850.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. I abstain. We do have, we got our SRF approval, State Revolving Fund Home Program is pleased to announce that the preliminary engineering report for the town of Morgantown is approved. So, our SRF has been approved. The project must be completed within 24 months of closing. Now, I talked to Steve Brock today, and the SRF does have grant monies available this time for water grants, so he's already started the process of seeing how much grant money we can get. What that does is that buys down the rate, so that's a great thing. We need, pardon?
So how much are we getting?
That's a 1.5 million. Roughly 1.5. Between the two, it's 2 million.
Okay. So we're guaranteed 1.5.
We're guaranteed the 1.5, yeah. And the other one, I mean, after meeting with them, and our score was so good that we should be okay.
That's the one for July.
Yeah, that's one we'll know in July. Now, we have to select the bond council.
As part of state revolving funds requirements, we have to have a separate bond counsel, an attorney who will review the transaction and offer an opinion to state revolving fund that the fund or tax exempt that the town's political subdivision eligible to receive these funds. That ultimately, if debt is sold on a secondary market, this opinion would be relied upon by the purchaser of that. And it places the bond counsel, I'm kind of like this framework because to explain why the fees ultimately are going to be so high. It is their opinion on which any of these investors may time, bond counsel will use a template for their opinion that will be very much like what they give everybody else. But it ends up being a component of indebtedness for the bond issuances that is very expensive. I will say over the last decade or so, it has been reined in. And because of efforts on the part of responsible town councils across the state, bond councils have had to accept something less in the way of fees than what they used to in the good old days. But I got a quote from Lewis and Kappas, who has offered a range from 13 to 15,000, and then got a quote from Fagery Baker Daniels for 12,000. And they're both reputable firms. I've worked with both of them as bond counsel before. There's not anything one has to offer that the other doesn't. That's not an insult. It's not really a compliment either. It's just the reality of it. I mean, they all know this terrain very well. My suggestion is we hire the one that's going to cost us the least amount of money. And so it's a proposal from Scott Peck and Fagery Baker Daniels to serve as bond counsel with respect to our state revolving fund financing. He makes mention that they're sensitive to the limited budgets of small towns like ours. He would estimate that the council services would be in the range of 12,000, so he is committing to fix their fee at 12,000. And then in both cases, if they have out-of-pocket expenses, we would need to reimburse them for that. But he estimates that they would not exceed $500, and I don't think they would. Part of the reason the fees are a little more reasonable in both cases is bond counsel will need to attend several meetings. I told them I don't think it would be a need for them to do that. What I've done for my other clients is sort of shepherd this thing through and conducted those transactional functions that they might at meetings that I'm going to be in attendance of anyway. And so my recommendation is you, by motion, vote to retain Fagery Baker and Daniels as bond counsel for this project. We need to do this tonight because SRF is wanting to fill in that blank. I mean, it is a requirement, and I don't know that it's going to undermine our funding, but Dreama Doolittle and Westler has sensed some pressure to get this done. And so, and there's no reason to postpone it. We have time. Any questions about that?
You can pass those around if you like.
I did not make copies for everyone, but these are the two proposals.
Are they had a person from the bond company who came to one meeting, right? Is this?
I don't recall that.
What are they doing? What is it?
You have to have.
Is it something you have to have, or what
Yeah.
do they do?
Yeah, I know you have to have, but we don't
Yeah.
always read the project, you have to have bond counsel.
That's really the short answer. There are pretty specific legal requirements that relate to the incurrence of indebtedness by political subdivisions in Indiana, but it's the same across the country. And particularly those that may turn out to be investments. People sometimes invest in municipal bonds, right? And one of the reasons that municipal bonds as a form of investment are appealing is because the income earned on them, the interest earned, is tax exempt. It's tax exempt because the debt is owed by a government, by a political subdivision that doesn't pay taxes. I mean, it doesn't make any sense for us to pay taxes when, we have to collect taxes in order to pay taxes, and so the tax exempt. But if the political subdivision, in this case a town, has not complied with all of the requirements for that indebtedness, that could compromise and defeat the tax exempt treatment. So someone who, if you think about someone buying $50 million of tax exempt bonds, and and they get a return on that of 8%. And they're counting on it being tax exempt. And then they find out, well, it's not. You owe tax on this. They may have made a different investment. They may have invested $50 million in a place else and gotten a better net return than they would have when they have to pay tax on the return that the municipal bonds pay. So they're going to blame somebody for that. They're going to blame the bond counsel. If the bond counsel screws up, that law firm is probably going to have to write a check. So what the bond counsel does is reviews the entire process to make sure that all of that there is compliance at every step along the way, and then ultimately opines that, yeah, this is clean, and it will receive tax exempt status, and there's no reason to think that there will be any challenge to that or that that status will change. And so it doesn't take a lot of time, and it's not the first time they've done this, and the fees relative to the amount of time they spend are ridiculous. I don't know whether they're getting paid $6,000 an hour or they're getting paid $2,000 an hour or whatever they're getting paid. But part of the reason that the fees are high is the liability, that when attorneys are asked to express an opinion, at that point you're placing yourself at risk if you were wrong. And so, because they're also taking on the liability by giving this opinion, it's a very high premium for those fees. The other reason is it's high because it can be. And probably that's the best answer. We can't do this. We can't take the next step through this process and get this very, very favorable financing if we don't have bond counsel's opinion included as a part of the packet. And
That comes out of the financing though, that we
It does.
don't pay that. We don't pay that.
That's right.
It comes out of the
It comes out of
1.5 million.
that's true.
It comes out of 1.5 million.
Okay, but we're, the town of Morgantown, are you going to get bonds in? And for our portion, or?
No, this isn't a traditional sale of bonds,
Okay.
but I think SRF will sometimes package some of the indebtedness, and they may go to a secondary market with it. So, but in any case, I have much stronger opinions about all this than probably what I'm letting on, that I have pretty strong ones anyway. What I do for my clients is I shop around and I try to drive this fee down as much as I possibly can. And it's phone calls like, appreciate the work done in the past and everything, but I'm going to get through 4 bids, we're going to take the lowest one, and this is Morgantown, USA, and we're scratching around trying to find money every way we can, and you try to get the lowest number you can get. And that's what happened here. I think relative to this service being provided in projects similar to this is a relatively low fee.
Now, in
And it's a good firm. And it's a good guy. This guy is a good guy.
approval letter says Morgantown's next step is to contact its financial advisor, which is Steve Brown, and its nationally recognized bond.
This is Lewis and Cass.
So, which is what it
That's
says.
figured.
So we can't go to the next step without bond.
Make a motion that we get the bond counsel for $12,000.
That would be Fagery Baker Daniels as the firm and Scott Peck as the attorney.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, can you send that information to Dreamer? Okay, if you'll email that to her tomorrow, she will. Another thing on the SRF, Steve is working on is rolling our current loan into SRF. They don't like to be in a secondary position. They want to be the big dog, primary. So, there's a possibility that that can
You mean our bank loans?
Uh,
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great because it would certainly help on the impact. And then as soon as all of that's done, and we hear back from July 17th on Oakland loan, then Steve will start doing his rate study. And after that July 17th, Westle will be here to get started on working on bids. Okay, any questions on that one, on the water grant? Okay, I have an update on the stormwater grant. Okra is doing a special second round in September. So we are going to be, you can't have both the stormwater and water at the same time. You can't have water and wastewater, but you can have the water and stormwater. So we'll be applying for that in September. It's another, I think, around $500,000 or $700,000, $500,000, that's what it was. And the planning grant for PER, the preliminary engineering report's already been approved. So just to let you know, probably at the next meeting we'll have more. We'll probably all be here. I don't know, September. We'll see. Yeah, September, July. Yeah, they'll probably all be here next month.
I'd say too that, as elected town council members, you're very likely to go through this sort of thing one time where you do huge capital projects like this. A $2 million project in Morgantown, that's a big project. But this is going exceedingly well. And not having gone through it and tried to figure out where to get money and have to do it in a more conventional on-issuance sort of a way and pay market interest rates, it's hard to have an appreciation for how good this is. And part of the reason it is, and it's unfortunate that it worked like this, but councils in the past have not dealt with the problem you are and have allowed the water to get to the point where everyone, when they open the faucet, thinks they're pouring out a cup of coffee instead of good, clear, clean, crystal water. And because it has gotten so bad, your scores are better. I mean, there's an urgency that translates to these funding agencies that move you up the list. But if you had to try to do this project without the grant and the low interest, long amortization funding that you're getting, I don't know that you could do it. I mean, I think you would be charging rates to residents here that I don't have any idea what they'd be. I'm asking you to listen to $20 a month utility bills. And I think that would result in a lot of bills not being paid, a decision ultimately not to do it, or people deciding just to leave. And you're going to get this problem solved. And I'm telling you all that because you really ought to celebrate this, and everybody in town ought to celebrate it too. I think, Steve Brock's done a good job. I think Westwood's done a good job. But most importantly, it's all happening because you've decided to make it happen. And there are opportunities out there that you're tapping into that you wouldn't be if you didn't take the initiative to go out and decide it's time to fix this and get it done. And it's going to be nice if, I don't know, however long it takes for folks to turn on the faucets and get water like that. And that's what's going to happen. So, I mean, it really is something that everybody ought to be excited about because it's not a common thing for you to get done what you do.
Right now, we're guaranteed the day and a half. And in July, we'll find out $500,000. And then we can come back in September or whenever and apply for another $500,000 to $700,000.
That's the stormwater. That would be,
But that's still.
yeah.
Okay.
That'd be $2.5 million in 1 year.
Bond issue coming on all this.
Just opinion?
Oh, no. The million,
Separate finance.
the $550,000 and the $500,000 are taxed from there. That's free money. We don't pay that back. And then hopefully Steve's working on getting grant money.
Well, no, but you're probably some of the attorneys that work may have billable rates of $700 an hour in Indianapolis. I probably just stopped talking.
Well, we're going to make the SRO happen. We can proceed with the next step. Okay. Next item, I didn't have it on the agenda, approval of minutes. We have 4 minutes to approve, May 4th, May 11th, May 20th. May 4th, public hearing, council meeting, council special, and council special. Anybody have any additions or corrections on those minutes? Nope. Walter? Motion, okay, approved as submitted. Sharon, your May financials?
Okay, if he's going to, please. Okay, we'll look at the revenue report first. I just want to say that under the Lowell operating in the general fund, we received January through May installment there. And also the Lloyd stabilization, it was January through May. And then that was the first quarter of the franchise fee for the cable payment. And I think that was really the only thing extra.
I see we received $50 restitution on Fall Board.
Yes, we did.
Wow, that's great.
That was,
I wonder what that balance is now, do you know?
I don't really know. I don't know where the paperwork that has the balance.
It's in that file cabinet, the one that's going this way.
I found the folder on hand, but I didn't. I'll see if I can find it.
Well,
But I'm sure it's in
the
there.
state can let you know.
Yeah, but it just
I'll
came out of the blue.
Sure.
Must have been a little work.
Okay.
Okay, and then, do you have any questions?
Any questions on the revenue report?
Okay, and then the appropriation report.
Now, this did include paying the liability insurance for you?
No, it doesn't.
No, they're in the appropriation. Yeah, okay. Any questions on appropriation report?
Okay. Okay, and then the fund report. I did bring last year's at this
Yeah, I
time.
did too. I wanted to come in, Mr. Downey, you have noticed in your MPH, you have 75.6 this year versus 44.3 last year. So you've really been able to save money there. And water balance is 101,000 versus 88, and that's good too. And wastewater is at 77.8 versus 65. But we've had some huge expenses after the bidding. So, and this includes the 33,000 purchase on the property, correct?
Pardon me?
This includes the $33,000 purchase on the property.
Yes, the property and the automatic.
Okay, pay file. Any questions on payroll? Pay file. Motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the pay file.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, show accounts claims report. Any questions on claims report?
Is it okay to take that Bobcat out of MPH or?
If that's what you say has to be done, it has to be done.
Well, it can come out of, it could come out.
Oh, I mean, according to what you said to, if it has to be done that way, it has to be done that way. I didn't realize that it was used that much. I thought it was used mostly for utilities. If you say it's used that much for MVH, then it is. Okay, everybody okay with the claims? Motion to approve claims? Okay, is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, claims are approved. You don't have any wastewater testing, do you? Okay. One thing that I had on there last month, I forgot. There were times when the part-timers, Becky and Swank both, needed a few extra hours. And I'll give you, for instance, like the night of the shooting, Swank came over, and as he should, all officers should be there for that. So, and then Becky, there are times when she has, this week she has council, next week she has planning and zoning, and this week with council, also it's first of the month when she's heavy on payments. So there are just a couple couple of times that these guys have, need, a couple of extra hours. And I didn't know what you guys thought about that.
I think it should be complicated.
Yeah, it's compensated, but what do you want to give them, like a 2, 3, 4 hour leeway? I mean, if there is something that comes up.
What's for somebody, how much leeway should we give them?
Well, it wouldn't be every week.
Yeah, no, they need a one,
Just
just.
4 hours, just 4 hours, and put in, I'm not there really many times, that's not often, generally.
4 hours a week, 4 hours a month, or
Well, just as far as when there's an emergency, like a shooting, when they're called out like that, and they have to come.
Special circumstances.
under special, we could say 4 hours. as needed.
So, I mean, on that week, rather than 20 hours, we get 24. If there's something like that, because those things happen. And when we do have that kind of an event, everybody needs to be, all active need to be on hand, so.
How much are you, Becky, how much are you go to the planning and zoning board, that's what, a couple hours there? Then what else you?
And this one,
Well, like the day's bills are due, I generally go an hour early because people are lined up. And then when I'm going, you Walter that evening. So
Yeah, on the 15th.
On the 15th, yeah.
You think 4 hours be enough?
Oh, I think that's more than enough.
so do you think if we gave them, just on special circumstances, where they could have up to 4 hours? Does somebody want to make that motion?
Promotion, part-time help can have up to 4 hours, special.
No, go ahead.
I just want to make sure when we look back at this in a year or something, we remember what we're doing. We're talking about 4 hours within what time frame? Is that 4 hours a week, 4 hours a month?
It would just be that week. It would just be that, I mean, like this week, she would probably have 2 because of this meeting. Because
So
it's
that during
this
any-
payment week.
During any pay period, you're just saying they're authorized to work up to an additional 4 hours?
If there are circumstances.
Yeah.
I mean, not just because,
Okay.
if there are.
But then what will they actually be paid? The number of hours they work up to 4? In increments of what, I mean, are they to keep track of their time? If they exceed their normal work week? I mean, if you only work 2 hours, then you're not going to pay back for 4, right?
No.
So you need to keep track of your time, and then we're going to break it into, what constitutes it, if it's 45 minutes, if it's a half an hour, do we divide up increments of a quarter of an hour, or?
I think it'd be just like the time, just like when she's there with Walter. I mean, that's a short time.
Well, no, but if it's an hour and 15 minutes, what are we
Yeah.
paying?
Oh, wait a minute.
Hour and 15
An hour and
minutes.
15 minutes, okay.
Okay, wouldn't it be easier, like you're talking about the meetings, the planning and zoning, wouldn't it be easier just to say, okay, they get a dollar amount for coming to the
You
meeting?
can't very well do that.
Not
Not with an hourly employee, because
Just paying the regular rate.
that's okay, except, I just rented this in the past, when somebody really does work 45 minutes, 40 minutes, or 50 minutes, the more detail, the better.
Oh,
So do we round it up to increments of 15 minutes, to the nearest, round it up to the nearest quarter hour? You see what I mean? So that, I was out 90 minutes, so what am I paid for? Am I paid for an hour? Am I paid for 2 hours? Am I paid for 90 minutes? Am I paid for 87 minutes? I think we need to say, if you round it up to the closest quarter of an hour, so that they know how to write it down.
What if those hours are just approved at the next council?
well,
Well, that's fine, but they still need to report them to you.
Because I mean, like, what if you had 2 or 3 shootings here in town? You might go,
Yeah, I heard
What's timely as what state law requires. I think it's fine to do what you're proposing.
I see what you're saying. You just are saying that it's actual time worked and not.
Well, that's it. We just need to know how to calculate it, I guess, is what I'm saying. Okay. So then we would say during any pay period, both Becky and Officer Swain are authorized to work up to an additional 4 hours as their work requires.
It
Right?
should never be that. It should never be, Becky should never.
But if you don't work more than 4, you're not in trouble, right? And you're to keep track of that time worked over and above your normal number of hours worked, 20 or whatever that is, and to keep track of it in increments of a quarter of an hour, and reported and paid accordingly at the same hourly rate as what is approved in the salary ordinance.
But their normal work rate would still remain 20, or will remain 20 and 30, but it would still remain that. But it would just be those couple of times, or for an emergency. Because I know the night of the shooting, and that Swain's week was taken almost. I mean, yeah, we lost some valuable time.
Does she get comp time?
No, I don't think so. They don't get comp time, do they?
Well, they could.
Part-time, they get comp time?
Well, I mean, that would be a matter whether you wanted to treat it that way instead of paying them. Right now, they don't, no.
I didn't know part-timers could get comp time.
Well, I think that would be just a policy.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose you could say if they work more than whatever they're scheduled to work, they would receive that back and paid time off as opposed to money. But we're kind of working against ourselves again anytime we do that, because then we're saying to Becky, you work 3 hours extra this week, work 3 hours less next week. We can't afford for her to work 3 hours less next week because she's already too busy. So I don't know that that's the solution. So sorry
No,
to derail you
your motion
here,
is
but
to work up to 4
I'm telling
hours.
you, these issues will come up if we don't discuss them now.
15 minutes, your motion then is to work up to 4 hours additional in case of have to, in 15-minute increments. Is that okay?
That's great.
Okay. Okay, and there was a second. I believe a second.
Yes, I second.
Okay, so all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. Now, DPW, before you get started, here, Sharon, are the loan papers I sent you today, that a flow structure is done, and there's a note on there for $65,000. A note on there for what the fees and closing costs. It's in the packet on the breakdown. Now, that's it. I got 65,000. We can play the fee for our fluid structure.
Yes, and on that, since you brought that up, I couldn't get ahold of Jim today, Ordale, but as far as I know, what we're waiting on is B.O. Anderson and SSI is supposed to be coordinated with B.L. Anderson and Dale Hubbard, so that we can get the new monitoring system put in so we can start discharging. So that's the story on that. Other than that, the whole project is complete.
Well, they've got their machine out there, we can be able to set in blocks for our salt.
They're already full of the machine.
Oh, that would be nice, well, that was there to set in, start when you do it with your machine.
We are looking to it.
They'll pick them up.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So that was, I mean, yes, they were definitely nice.
Oh, you don't see the machine in the Bible. Holy cow. You can believe it.
The CBX is in. We've got to call into Covalent for, to see if they're going to come, or if that Steve Harris is going to come help us with the initial application, at the start of this first application on the
change billing people, and their billing is behind. So this is for the end of last year and this year. Well, no, I take it back. First and second quarters of this year. But the quarterly billing for the monthly monitoring, and that's on the,
Yes. Okay, the question on those is that, which if you want to go ahead and approve, fine, but I would request that you approve, wait till I do a little bit of checking before, or say that, you know, Sharon, go ahead and send a check or whatever, because I do want to check with them, because I do have a question about their monthly monitoring program.
are they not sending you a report or anything?
No.
Oh.
So how they interpret it, and
Yeah.
how we interpret it.
Do you think you did one report?
Is it happening?
Are they working and everything?
No, are they monitoring?
I don't, if they come down, they don't tell us. That's where I'm on.
That was kind of important in the consideration.
You know, the thing of it is.
Now, they come, when we've had problems, no, we've been to us, they're right down there, but
Okay.
as far as just voluntarily, like a, you know, PM, preventive maintenance issue, that's, no.
So who's doing that monitoring? Is it Jason or is it?
It's Jason and, Sam.
Okay. Well, I think you're right. I didn't realize that. I thought you were probably getting monthly.
No.
Well, we better hold those for a month.
Okay. Well, it's been, yeah,
I would have thought.
it's been this long, so why not?
Well, I mean, it was a line item under the total cost. And, well, we want the information
Yeah.
to assess how it's working. Yeah.
So, okay, well, we'll email her tomorrow. Okay, what else?
Eventually, sooner than later, we're going to have power back to far back a little bit here. The price is probably not about $1,000. Duke pre-quoted it at $11,800 to run power back there. It's not going to be happening, but I just want to give everybody a heads up to start thinking about that. What we'll do with that. I think we have enough, as far as I know, because Hubbard Electric didn't give us any issues. In fact, we got newer monitors coming, so obviously newer is not going to grow as much results or anything. So we're going to be okay with the existing power we got now. For that, that being said, the only other thing, and we're pushing our limit, is running the D12 pump. But I mean, it has been working, everything has been working so far, so it's nothing immediately that we need to do, but we do need to keep this in mind that we are going to have to eventually run another service back there. And it's going to have to come from Lick Creek, around Lick Creek and Palm Road, you know, tie onto the, or they go, because I've got to check, he told me I have to check for easements and everything for new poles and all that. So that's where it's going to have to come from.
And they're the only people that can do it, right?
Yes.
They won't let us.
Yeah, no, they don't let us do it. No. Because it's going to be over specification, of course, they're responsible for their wires, their poles.
But once it's done, in 10 years from now, it should still be right.
Oh, well.
And once we run it back there, the people that sit on this board down the road should think that's where they're at.
No, my intentions are, yeah, I have to look at it, not tomorrow.
We need to do it, because it's only, things out there are only going to increase. And your sense that we can't add, just like they were talking about possibly, you know,
Yeah, moving
second,
those,
we're moving it over
Palm
there.
Road,
we're doing it.
over to the south too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way we can do that now. I mean, that's not feasible or possible.
Have any of you guys been out there looking? Could you believe it? I couldn't believe it. Maybe you look like it. Cattails are gone. You can see clear, well, but I mean, they're not like they were. And it's clear water. The water is clear. Unbelievable. Okay. What else you got?
Just we've been doing the street signs. Again, I've just got, I mean, I've got a priority list, and you guys are more than welcome to go through it to see where another day's job because we're waiting on some more pipe and just specific items because when we got into it, it wasn't it's gonna take a little bit more TLC to fix.
But you have what you need for the signs up, all you need to do is call and locate for half a dozen of them, and if you have time, a couple hours one day, you can fill a couple up. Probably good driver, I mean, locates, no, if you call in 6 locates, it'll take just a few minutes, and for 2 weeks, if you had some time, you can fill up your signs. If you have the driver, you have the driver you need.
Yeah. All right.
What, on this storm at church, you're talking about by Dixie's house? Is it the same thing that's happened to all of these? I mean, what, are they just, they're at a certain age where they're sinking? Because that's the same thing that happened on Mulberry, right? Are they all the same problem?
Well, yeah, basically, I mean,
They're just all...
we had to take it back another foot to be able to get halfway decent line. You can still go down the line and it's still cracked, so, I mean, eventually you're gonna have sinkholes just about everywhere. But, I mean, that's a key location, I mean, there's a lot of people in school traffic and all that. Uses that, because there's school bus route, basically, there catches a lot of it. And then the locates are called in for replacing items that are parking, again, parking in the church, so that, again, that's supposed to be clear tomorrow, so hopefully we'll finish the church and Elm tomorrow and start on the church and park. Weather permitting and no line bus. Which I don't know, I need to check Sharon and you to see what kind of money we've got as far as paving money this year. I've got 2 or 3 streets in question. And the board has about
Road and Street has 18.9 in it. Well, we'll get some money in general, and we put some in the poetic, but yeah. See what you need.
and which I already, I just want to make sure that we get back to it because something is. I want to have Wood Services come back down and cut out some more wastewater lines so we don't run into a problem there. An example is Maple north to Elm. There's a, well, we gotta dig it up to get access to it. There's a manhole there, but there is no manhole in between there. We'll have to get in there in that easement and put a manhole somewhere in there. But that's how far it goes before the next manhole is. I mean, it's just things like that. It's kind of keeping us, because they're literally running their cutter that far down.
Have a camera to make sure that there's not a man.
Well, you okay, if you get a camera, I'll get a price for you.
If it's that far, maybe there is a manhole there.
It's just not on the map, I know that. But you're right, I mean, never could be, it's not. The cost of the camera, right off the top of my head, I don't know. But again, we could probably get them for a day. And pick out specific, well, again, we've got the same issue at the one who runs behind the houses, butt up against that, on Elm and Washington, those houses butt up against you from here with the line, or the line of bridge you have to do there for the customer. At the very east end of that, there is no quote. So that'd be another good idea to camera, because it's clear down to your perimeter, or remember, it's clear down there, almost to the phone building across the street from the home building, so.
Y'all in? You got one?
No, we've done a lot of things.
Marvin, how about, what do you got? That's your report, you know?
Total calls last month, 39, it was up from 34 the previous. County took 6 calls for us. Like last month, I started listening to top 5 call types. We had 5 alarms, 5 medical runs, 4 domestics, 4 welfare checks, and 2 systems used up the top 5. The rest of them was tied with 1 or 2. Total citations were 7. We had 11 ordinance violations, and that includes the 2004-8. 5 state statute and 18 warnings issued. on, number 4, wanted to see what you guys want to do with the 2004 Impala. You want to put that up for sale? Every night, once a month, I try and get on private. I've had to move it several times because they requested to mow grass. You guys want to try and put that back up for sale again? I had to kind of balance out the money, but in 2007, kind of fix it up a little bit.
Is that the one with the four-wheel? Yeah.
Yeah, the 04 is the one we got back.
Oh, yeah, it was up with it. Sitting there.
So we're trying to sell it, huh? We're trying to sell it.
How do you really want it?
I don't want it, less so.
Make a motion that Marlon puts it up for sale.
I'll second it. Discussion? Anybody have an idea what it should sell? You don't think it'll sell for 1,000, do you? Less than 1,000?
Well, I think anything over 1,000, we have to take bids on. I mean, it's right there, but we may look at a little bit more than that for it, so. I would say somewhere between 8
It's got how many miles, 170 or?
We just have to
and
sell it.
Now just takes over there. How's that? Okay. Okay, there's a motion on the floor to take sealed bids for the 2004 Impala and vote in the next meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, then you got some trouble with your reserve car.
Yeah, the 07, I need to get council's approval to, I had to go ahead and get the oil sensor replaced today, and then the actuator went out. The actuator is what controls inside the dash that flips it back and forth from fresh air to air controls. There's several of them. The one that went out was a fresh air to recirculate. That one went out. I got that fixed this morning because sometimes it don't shut off and it brings the battery really down. I went and got that fixed this morning. There's a problem with the AC. David thinks he found a leak in one of the lines. We charged it and tried it for a month. I talked to him today and he gave me a quote on the AC, and it was $250 to replace the line on that. I'm not concerned with that right now. What I would like to do, the stress been, they've been here like a long time now. The stress on the car. Whitaker gave me a quote on the stress at $740. I went back to him today because I got a quote. The $740 includes OEM, shocks, struts. But I asked him if we bought them at a CarQuest because I can get them, $60 cheaper than his quote. But he said at that time, he said, well, I'll just make a deal on the OEM. So he didn't give me a set price on it, but he's going to cut me a deal on using stock struts and shocks. So what I would need approval for is to go ahead and get the shocks and struts replaced. I've got the quote for $740, but it won't be quite that, even if that's a deal on the parts.
How many miles does that one have on?
That one's got, I think it's 151,000.
So $1,000 will fix the air and
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I would just say that. Yeah, very safe. That's small, regional lines. Seems to be the same language with College, because we replaced the yellow.
I'll make a motion that they spend up to $1,000 getting it worked out on 07.
Is there a second? Okay, discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, well, that's down, then you'll have to drive the other car. I looked here, Marvin, and I'm showing your mileage as 150764.
150764?
On that car.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, next up, which is on your leg, so things real quick. Sharon, did we ever hear anything back on the county ordinance fund? When we turned out paperwork in? Have you heard anything?
No, not yet. But I think that we might get the money when we get our June installment. See we'll be getting our large property tax money and some other money this month in June. And we completed the survey and sent it in, Marvin, we completed it, but we haven't heard back yet whether or not.
What makes you think we're gonna get it though? If not, I'm gonna get back on again. You feel like?
Well, because
That's been a while away.
yes, but you can call them, or I can call them, but I just feel like that, we're going to be getting a large sum of money.
You are, but the sources of those monies are entirely different. It may be coincidental.
Well, it comes from the same, well, yes. I
You know,
see what you're saying.
yeah, I mean, these really are court fees that have been collected and are shared because you write tickets there, which is really the county. Your state settlement is from the state through the county, but they're not going to coordinate those together. It would be coincidental. Yeah, I know you have worked hard to get this. You both have. But I mean, you should have had it a long time ago. My fear is that with passage of time, the likelihood gets less and less, so I'd vote all you can.
Or whatever you can, so it's just gonna sit and build up.
I thought when they sent that survey.
Well, I don't know, but whether you collect it 3 years past or not.
Yeah, we've always
It's
got
going to happen.
We've gotten all of it.
I know you have, but I don't know whether if you miss a cycle for 1 year, whether you can go back and collect it.
Yeah, and the reason I say that is because the first time we got it, it was, when Jason Allen helped set it up, it had built up over the years so much, we got $60,000.
Okay.
So,
Well, that's great.
Yeah, until it's $50,000. All right. Okay, National Night Out, you remember when I brought that up? I thought of something neat I could do that night. I am gonna do a tape demonstration. So I need 2 volunteers. I've got Jeff as one.
You're kidding.
Mark. Joe. I'm kidding. No, I am gonna do that, but I'm not gonna have to use the other alternate. But I thought that's.
I don't know. I know, it's not time to tell stories and all that stuff. No kidding, Princess Lakes officers came in one night when the tasers were new. And they had just gotten approval and did that. And somebody volunteered, I don't know who. Right in the middle of the conference, right in the, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. You didn't volunteer, right? Joe, you don't want to do that. They work. They're wonderful, but I thought, how do you talk somebody into that?
Talk me into doing it? Well, what I'm gonna look for is people that,
Are you serious about doing that? Oh, I'm joking. I mean, I think you're joking.
Great for people that get to see it in the movie.
Well,
I think I can.
sorry, I might have just worked against you there.
I think I can figure out how to use it. You would have volunteered.
It's a sign of behold. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It works. I guess.
Okay, nuisance ordinance.
I have a pass out here. I don't pass out. They've had to send it around. At the last meeting, we reviewed the nuisance ordinance that I think we got in the meeting before. And you wanted a few changes made. And what I'm passing around is that ordinance would have to change, I believe.
We're going through this line by line.
We wanted, section 3, the first change was, again, page 2, under section 3A. The old one had included snow or ice remain on public sidewalks continuously for 24 hours. You wanted that removed, and it's gone. We talked about inserting someplace along the way, sort of a rodent vermin kind of a provision, and so I inserted under what you'll see in your draft now as E, section 3E, maintaining premises in a manner that creates an unsanitary condition likely to attract or harbor mosquitoes, rodents, vermin, or disease-carrying pests. And then 3O, the language is a little awkward. And what we had before was the outside parking and storage on residentially zoned property, large numbers of vehicles, materials, supplies, or equipment not customarily used for residential purposes change that to the outside parking and/or storage on residents whose own property of vehicle parts, building materials, appliances, equipment, or other objects not customarily used for residential purposes. Because I think our abandoned vehicle ordinance takes care of the vehicles, the whole vehicle, you know? And so we don't need to have another part where we can somehow consider as a nuisance the parking of cars on private property. I mean, I don't think we need for it to read that way. So I fixed it so it doesn't get interpreted the way it seems in my mind a bit silly. And then section 8 reads that a property owner may appeal a violation notice or a bill within 10 days of receipt by filing a written notice of appeal and request for a hearing at the next regular meeting. The draft before this required that in that written notice of appeal they state the basis of the appeal. And I remember suggesting at the last meeting, why would they don't need to do that. And that's the reason they're asking for a hearing in the first place. I mean, if someone wants to appeal it, I think they ought to get to appeal it. When they show up at the hearing, they can make an argument for why they're appealing it, why they think it ought to be changed. But I don't think you need to put in writing what their basis for it is. So I've just taken that out. It reads the same otherwise. So I believe I made the changes you wanted me to make. And those I just pointed out to you. So if you're so inclined, this would be 2015-4 on first reading this first day of June.
We can have our first reading tonight and second reading next month. Is that okay with you? I'll give you time to read it again. We went through it. I'll give you time to read it again. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 2015-4 on first reading?
Make a motion to adopt 2015-4 first reading.
Okay, is there a second? A second. Okay, thank you. Discussion? We pretty much beat it last time. All those in favor say aye. All those same sign. Okay. Did you guys by any chance bring the burn ordinance? You already bring the burn ordinance? Oh. Well, we'll have that in the animal ordinance at the next meeting. I'll get another copy to you. This was the town of Trafalgar has a burn ordinance. And it coincides with the state burn ordinance, but it does ban open burning, especially at night. I get some complaints at night.
Well, and I don't know whether it was last meeting too, but there is state legislation that prohibits outdoor burning anyway. A lot of local jurisdictions have their own ordinances, but something that has changed. You know, it used to be if a local ordinance wanted to ban outdoor burning, it could. But there wasn't this overriding state prohibition against it, and there really is. So even if you didn't adopt an ordinance, there could be a violation written for open burning now. So
I had under old business, the property on West Washington Street, our initial offer was not accepted. And Mr. Rowe would like council approval to negotiate that property. Come down to us and let us know what it can do. He's not talking anything. And he does have his broker's license. So, is there a motion
Make a motion, Mr. Rowe, to negotiate.
on West Washington?
West Washington.
Okay, is there a second? Okay. All those in favor, discussion? All those in favor say aye. Okay. I have another, under new business. The records upstairs in Town Hall public records in that room are a mess. Jeff checked with Felita, and I can have a CC worker 1 day a week on Mondays, right?
Yes.
Mhm. Some weeks maybe 2, but to help organize that. So I would like council approval to have an additional 1, possibly 2 CC workers on a Monday to clean up and organize the public records room. There are things in there that really could be thrown away that are old town newspaper articles or flyers and things like that. And the library would really like to have them, so they'd just be sorting through and getting them. So,
They just, I don't know how old this that is, but they need to be supervised in a way that our retention
oh yeah,
goals are.
Sharon has no good retention.
Okay, so you have that thing covered.
And some of it can go. I think.
Oh, I'm sure, I bet 90% of it can go, but some of it really can't. Well, I don't know that either. That can't be, we just need to make sure we stay.
Yeah, and it'd be nice if we could help you all on that. So, if that's okay with you guys, I'm gonna start that project. Okay. And, final thing that I have is, I would like to have approval from the council to proceed to apply for an $80,000 grant, up to $80,000, and I'll have more details the next meeting, but I want approval before I start putting a lot of time in it. A grant for a town website. So I'm going to motion to let me start that work, because I don't want to do it.
Would be nice to have.
Huh?
Would be nice to have.
Oh, this is a Cadillac too. It's a mess. Okay, well, I'm gonna proceed with that, that's okay with you guys. Public comments, any public comments? Motion to adjourn the meeting.